Let's jump right in. Today, we're exploring something absolutely mind-bending. How exactly did a complex, highly theoretical scientific concept, the multiverse, escape the rigid confines of quantum physics and cosmology to become literally the ultimate storytelling engine of our time? We're going to look at exactly how heavy mathematical theories, things like bubble universes and quantum branching, completely transformed into these tangible, captivating stories that have basically taken over all of our screens and bookshelves.
So, picture this. What if another you is living a completely different life right now? Seriously, think about your past regrets for a second. Or maybe that one major choice you made years ago. Have you ever wondered what would have happened if you went left instead of right? Did you take a different job? Marry someone else? This is the cosmic concept we are unpacking in this explainer today. And it works so incredibly well in pop culture because it takes this massive, frankly unimaginable scientific theory and grounds it right into our daily, deeply personal human experience. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. From physics to fiction. To understand how we got from dense theoretical physics, like, the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics or cosmic inflation, into the creative worlds of storytellers, we really have to look back. Way back in the 1800s, this started out strictly as early fantasy and magical portals. Think of Alice falling down the rabbit hole into Wonderland. It was whimsical, it was mythical, and actually, scratch that, it wasn't grounded in science at all. But then, in 1895, H.G. Wells introduced dimensional and time exploration, which cracked the door open a bit wider to more structured speculation. By the 1960s, authors like Philip K. Dick were crafting really concrete, science-based alternate histories, completely bending reality to ask profound what-if questions that suddenly felt rooted in this newly emerging physics.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how creators quickly realized they didn't actually need to use the multiverse to teach complex quantum equations, right? Instead, they started using it as this powerful narrative tool to explore deeply human themes. They build alternate history scenarios like, what if a major historical conflict ended differently? They explore identity by having characters literally meet their alternate selves. They showcase the severe cascading consequences of just a single choice. And they use these parallel worlds for societal critique, acting as amplified, sometimes totally distorted reflections of our own world's flaws and triumphs.
Which brings us to Section 2, the mirror of identity. This brings us to a really fascinating juxtaposition. On one hand, we've got the real you, the person defined by the specific choices, memories, and circumstances of your current timeline. But on the other hand, there's the alternate you, representing the infinite other possibilities, the choices not made, and those paths untaken. This illustrates a really profound philosophical debate. Is our identity rigidly fixed by our specific path, or does the true overarching definition of self somehow include all those alternate possibilities? When we watch a character meet a different version of themselves, we are really watching this profound exploration of human identity unfold right in front of us.
Which leads us to a pretty heavy, almost unsettling question. If an alternate you makes a terrible choice, do you share the responsibility? Just sit with that for a second. If every possible outcome actually happens across different universes, and an alternate version of you commits a terrible crime in a parallel world, is that still you? These narratives completely blur the line between self and other. It takes a really fun science fiction trope and turns it into this deep existential moral puzzle.
All right, let's shift gears and bump the energy back up. Section 3, visualizing universes on screen.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because the evolution of visual media, especially the huge leap in modern special effects, allowed these complex, philosophical identity mirrors to jump from the written page right onto the screen. It made the abstract suddenly very real for audiences. Filmmakers had to figure out, how do we make this tangible? Well, step one was physical portals. Think of heavily navigated technological devices in shows like Stargate or Fringe, where you physically step through a glowing gateway. Then step two brought us side-by-side timelines, splitting reality based on one single, seemingly mundane event, like we famously saw in the movie Sliding Doors. And step three, that's quantum branching. These are the massive modern cinematic narratives we see today, exploring infinite reality rifts and literally colliding universes.
And in modern blockbusters, the superhero genre utilizes the multiverse as a brilliant, highly effective narrative loophole. It allows creators to introduce character variants and nonlinear stories without erasing decades of established history. They can answer massive what-if scenarios, team up different versions of the exact same hero, or bring in entirely new perspectives, all while keeping their primary beloved storylines completely intact. It is, for sure, the ultimate tool for franchise storytelling. To pull this off on screen, writers get incredibly creative to bypass the restrictive boundaries of physics. They'll use advanced technological portals and machines, innate superhuman dimensional abilities, natural cosmic anomalies and reality rifts, or even dreams and altered spiritual states to bridge the gap between worlds. It's a total masterclass in pure cinematic imagination, taking the very real limits of human knowledge and just filling the gaps with endless possibilities.
Moving right along, Section 4, Interactive Worlds in Gaming. Now this is a massive leap, because pop culture didn't just stop at passive viewing. Video games and interactive media basically hand the keys to the multiverse over to you, the audience, through branching narratives. This interactive medium perfectly captures the essence of parallel universe theory. Why? Because your real-time choices actively spawn new realities, new branches, and new consequences right before your eyes. You aren't just watching a multiverse unfold anymore, you are literally generating it with every single decision you make. How cool is that?
And finally, Section 5, the philosophical resonance.
As we pull back from pop culture for a minute, it's pretty easy to feel a bit of existential dread, right? I mean, in a universe of infinite possibilities, does our individual life lose its meaning? If there are literally a million versions of you, and our universe is just one tiny bubble in an endless foam of realities, does your specific joy, your specific suffering, and your unique journey actually matter? Does the sheer mind-boggling scale of a multiverse minimize the value of our everyday human experiences?
So the crucial point is this. Whether we live in a single, unique universe, or we're just one branch of an infinite tree of worlds, our journey in existence remains a remarkable and unique experience. No matter how many universes are out there, your reality, your choices, and your conscious experience right here, right now, are singular. They're yours alone. Every choice you make actively shapes your specific branch of reality, making your life infinitely valuable. So, what choice will you make next? Thanks for exploring the multiverse with me today in this explainer.